Welcome to the Vault of the Forgotten. Today I will tell the story of Atlas, the Titan cursed to carry the world. But before then, please help me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you. Let's get to the video. Before the age of gods and before Olympus crowned the heavens, there were the Titans, beings of immeasurable power, born from the bones of the earth and the breath of the cosmos itself. Among them stood one who bore not a weapon nor sought a throne, but carried a burden so great it defined eternity itself. His name was Atlas, the Titan condemned to hold up the sky. But Atlas's story is not one of punishment alone. It is a tale of pride, rebellion, and endurance, of a being caught between the old world and the new. It is the story of how strength became suffering and how suffering became legend. Who was Atlas? Atlas, the name itself means to endure. In every myth, every age, his image remains the same. A colossal figure, muscles straining, bent beneath the weight of the heavens, his knees pressed against the rock of the world. But before that eternal burden, Atlas was something else entirely. A prince of the Titans, the son of Iapetus, brother of Prometheus, the firebringer, Epimetheus, the afterthinker, and Menoetius, the doomed one. Each brother symbolized a fragment of humanity's fate. Prometheus, the mind that defies the gods, Epimetheus, the folly that forgets, Menoetius, the pride that falls, and Atlas, the strength that must bear the consequences of them all. The poet said Atlas was vast as mountains, his skin like bronze, his eyes gleaming with the light of dawn. His domain was the far west at the edge of the known world, where the sea kissed the sky. There he ruled over the heavens themselves, the horizon his crown. He was not cruel nor kind, but constant. Where Prometheus sought to outwit the gods, Atlas sought to outlast them. In the age before Zeus, when the Titans ruled under Kronos, Atlas was both warrior and guardian, the general of the old gods' armies, the one who led from the front. But destiny had other plans, for even Titans cannot bear eternity unchanged. The origins, the Titan of endurance. Long before man shaped words or fire, the universe was chaos, an endless expanse of darkness and potential. Then came Gaia, the earth, and Uranus, the sky. From their union came the Titans, the first rulers of creation. Atlas was born in their shadow. His father, Iapetus, was a god of mortality and craft, and from him Atlas inherited not just strength but purpose. He was the builder, the bearer, the one who could hold the unholdable. When the other Titans bickered or schemed, Atlas stood apart, silent, patient, watching the dance of stars and storms. It was said that even as a child of Titans, his gaze reached beyond the horizon, that he could see the curve of the world when others still thought it flat. And though he never sought conflict, war found him. When Zeus was born, hidden from Kronos' hunger, the old order began to crack. The Titan king had devoured his children for fear of prophecy, that one of them would overthrow him. But Gaia, ever the mother, could not bear it. She sheltered the youngest, Zeus, and nursed the seed of rebellion. Atlas watched from afar as the storm grew. He was no fool. He knew the balance of the cosmos could not hold. Kronos' fear had made him tyrant, and the younger gods, the Olympians, would not remain silent forever. And when Zeus finally rose against his father, summoning his siblings from the belly of Kronos to fight beside him, the world split in two. The age of the Titans and the age of the Olympians. It was then that Atlas chose his side. The rise of the Titans, Atlas did not follow Kronos blindly. He did not believe in his father's cruelty. But he believed in something older, in the principle that the sky and earth should never change hands so easily. He believed that the Titans were the pillars of existence itself, that without them the universe would crumble. And so when Zeus called for war, Atlas stood among the defenders of the old world. He became the commander of the Titan host, his voice thundering across the plains of Thessaly, where gods and giants clashed in the great Titanomachy, the war of the gods. The sky burned for 10 years. Mountains were hurled like stones. Oceans boiled under thunderbolts. From Othrys, the seat of the Titans, to Olympus, the fortress of the young gods, the war raged without end. Atlas led with fury and precision. He fought Poseidon in the seas, Ares on the ground, and even Zeus himself among the clouds. Each battle tore at creation. Stars fell from the heavens and rivers turned to dust. But even the might of the Titans could not stand forever against the fire of the new gods. For Zeus had allies, monstrous beings born of Tartarus, the Cyclopes, and the 100-handed ones whom he had freed from Kronos' prisons. They forged for him weapons that changed the world, the thunderbolt, the trident, and the helm of darkness. With these, the Olympians became unstoppable. The mountains trembled, and the Titan armies began to fall. Atlas fought until the last. His bronze spear shattered, his armor scorched by lightning, his body bleeding gold. When at last the Titans fell, he stood upon the smoking earth, surrounded by flame, his breath heavy as thunder. Zeus descended from the storm, his eyes blazing like the sun. "It is over," he said. "The old order has ended." Atlas did not kneel. He looked to the heavens, his heavens, and said, "Then let the new bear the weight of what they have made." Zeus's gaze hardened. "So you love the sky so much, Titan? Then the sky shall be yours, to hold for all eternity." And with that, the curse was spoken. The earth trembled, the sky opened. Chains of lightning coiled around Atlas's arms and shoulders, dragging him to his knees. He roared in defiance, but the heavens fell upon him, vast and endless, pressing down with the full weight of the cosmos. His knees dug into the soil, his back arched beneath the stars. The sky, infinite, cold, merciless, became his eternal companion. The fall and the curse. The dust of war had not yet settled when Zeus sealed his victory. The Titan armies lay broken, their towers turned to ash, their rivers turned red with the molten breath of the Cyclops' forge. From every corner of the earth, the new gods proclaimed their dominion, their voices echoing through the empty halls of Othrys. But amid that ruin, one figure still stood, tall, unmoved, defiant, Atlas. He was bound in chains forged from lightning and oath magic, yet his eyes still gleamed with the light of the old cosmos. Zeus descended through the smoke, flanked by Athena and Poseidon, his expression carved from storm. "The war is done," Zeus said. "Let none forget who brought it upon the world." The other Titans were cast into Tartarus, a pit deeper than night. But for Atlas, Zeus devised a punishment unlike any other. He raised his arm, and from the void above came the heavens themselves, spinning, immense, alive with stars. Their weight pressed upon the mountains, their gravity bent the seas. And with a single gesture, Zeus forced that weight upon Atlas's shoulders. The Titan gasped, not in fear but in awe. He felt the cold breath of the constellations against his skin, the slow turning of the spheres grinding upon his spine. The burden was infinite, and yet he bore it. "You wish to defend the old order," Zeus said. "Now you will uphold it for eternity." And with that, the king of Olympus left him, a silhouette against a burning horizon, forever divided from the world he had once commanded. The burden of the sky ages passed. The flames of war cooled, and the world was born anew beneath Olympus. Yet somewhere at the edge of that new dawn, where ocean met sky, a lone figure stood unmoving. Atlas. He had become part of the landscape itself, mountain and man, stone and flesh, bound by purpose and pain. The heavens turned because he held them. The winds blew because his breath gave them motion. At first he raged. His roar shook the continents, his tears carved valleys. But rage fades even in gods. What remained was silence and endurance. In that silence, Atlas began to understand the nature of his curse. The heavens did not merely rest upon him, they spoke to him. Every star whispered, every planet hummed. The pulse of the cosmos beat against his shoulders. He felt the passage of time itself, the slow drift of the constellations, the birth of galaxies, the dying sigh of suns. He was no longer merely a Titan. He had become a pillar of existence. Mortals came and went. Civilizations rose beneath his shadow. They built temples at his feet and called him the bearer, the endurer, the boundary between heaven and earth. Sailors who reached the western horizon claimed to glimpse his silhouette against the sunset. Vast, sorrowful, eternal. But even eternity has visitors. Atlas and Heracles. It was in the age of heroes, long after the Titan Wars had faded into myth, that a mortal son of Zeus approached the far western lands. His name was Heracles. The hero had been sent to fetch the golden apples of the Hesperides, treasures that grew in the garden of Atlas's daughters. Yet none but Atlas himself could cross that threshold, for the garden lay beyond the mortal realm, wrapped in the twilight of the gods. Heracles found the Titan standing beneath the sky, his muscles like carved stone, his eyes as old as the sea. The hero raised his voice, "Great Atlas, I am sent by Zeus to take the apples your daughters guard. Will you help me, or must I defy even you?" At the sound of his father's name, Atlas laughed. a deep, echoing sound that shook the clouds. Zeus? The sky he gave me still crushes my back, and you speak his name as though it were mercy. Yet you are bold, mortal. Few dare stand before me. Heracles bowed his head, neither humbled nor proud. If your curse binds you, let me bear it for a moment. Rest, Titan, while I retrieve the apples. For the first time since his punishment, Atlas paused. The offer tempted him. He had not moved freely in eons. The weight had become both prison and purpose. Could he trust this mortal with the heavens themselves? At last he nodded. Very well, son of Zeus. Hold the sky, and I shall fetch what you seek. He shifted the firmament carefully onto Heracles' shoulders. The hero braced, every muscle screaming, his veins shining like molten bronze under the strain. The sky pressed down with the weight of all creation, and Heracles gritted his teeth, yet he held. Atlas straightened for the first time in ages. He stretched, feeling the ache of forgotten freedom, then strode across the world like a shadow passing over continents. When he returned, the apples of gold shone in his hands, glowing like captured sunlight. I have what you sought, Atlas said. But why should I take back my burden? The sky sits better on your broad shoulders than mine. Heracles' smile was thin but cunning. Then at least help me adjust the weight. I fear I have not set it right upon my back. Atlas, unsuspecting, bent forward once more to help. And in that instant Heracles slipped away, thrusting the heavens back onto the Titan's shoulders. Your burden, great Atlas, is yours alone, he said, taking the apples and stepping from the mountain. For a heartbeat, silence. Then Atlas laughed, a low rumbling sound, half amusement, half despair. Clever mortal, even the children of Zeus carry his deceit. And so Atlas remained as he was, and his brief freedom gone, his burden eternal once more. Yet for that single moment when the sky no longer touched his skin, he remembered what it was to move, and perhaps that memory was enough. The legacy of Atlas, the world moved on, but the image of Atlas did not fade. He stood at the edge of memory, half myth, half mountain, forever straining beneath a sky that no longer noticed him. To the ancients, Atlas was more than a Titan. He was a mirror of the human condition. He symbolized endurance, consequence, and the unending weight of existence. Every civilization that gazed westward, toward the sunset, toward the end of all known things, found his shadow there. The Greeks saw him as punishment eternal. The Romans, however, saw something nobler, the ultimate act of duty. For what greater strength is there than to bear a burden that can never be set down? And so Atlas transformed, and from rebel to guardian, from cursed to necessary. Atlas and ancient thought philosophers of old debated his meaning. To the followers of Pythagoras, Atlas was not a being at all, but a cosmic axis, a metaphor for the invisible structure that held the heavens in balance. To Plato, he represented the binding principle of order, the unseen law that keeps chaos from devouring the world. The poets, meanwhile, gave him emotion. Hesiod wrote of his strength. Aeschylus wrote of his silence. Ovid wrote of his tragedy. How even stone cannot forget the sky that once crushed it. In Metamorphoses, Ovid tells how Perseus, the slayer of Medusa, once approached the Titan during his long wanderings. Atlas, still cursed and wary of gods, refused him hospitality. In anger, from pity, Perseus raised the Gorgon's head. At once the Titan's skin hardened. His flesh turned to granite, his hair to ridges, his veins to rivers of stone. His body grew vast, spreading across the western lands until it became the mountain range that still bears his name, the Atlas Mountains of North Africa. Thus myth became geography, punishment became landscape. The gods in their poetry had carved him into the world itself, the symbol of endurance. As centuries passed, Atlas evolved beyond the myths of Greece and Rome. The philosophers of Alexandria spoke of him as the axis mundi, the cosmic pillar connecting heaven and earth. The cartographers of the Renaissance borrowed his name for collections of maps because he held up the world. It was a perfect metaphor. For every explorer, every scholar, every human who sought to understand the earth, Atlas was their unseen companion. Each map, each globe, each chart became a miniature echo of his curse, a tiny bearable version of the infinite. Yet beneath this symbolism lies something profoundly human. Atlas did not die, he endured. He did not rise, he remained. And that, in a universe obsessed with glory, made him eternal. The Egyptian connection. Some scholars of old drew parallels between Atlas and Egyptian myth. In the land of the Nile, there was a god named Shu, who held aloft the sky goddess Nut above the earth god Geb, separating heaven and earth, so that creation could thrive between them. Shu was balance, Atlas was endurance. Both bore the cosmos. Both defined the boundary between order and chaos. It is said that when the Greeks traded and warred across the Mediterranean, they saw Shu's image and merged him with their Titan. For myth travels easily across the sea, reshaping itself with every tongue. Thus Atlas became not merely a Greek figure, but a symbol that crossed cultures, the eternal bearer, the guardian of the heavens, the bridge between divine and mortal realms. Misconceptions and variations. Over time, the myth of Atlas grew confused. Some artists painted him holding the earth itself, a globe balanced upon his shoulders, though in truth he held not the planet, but the sky. That image, however, became iconic. From ancient statues to Renaissance marble, from Roman frescoes to modern emblems of science and industry, Atlas became the symbol of burden and resilience alike. Even in literature he persisted. Dante wrote of him in Inferno, chained within the pit of hell, supporting the weight of 1,000 frozen souls. Milton compared Satan's rebellion to that of Atlas's defiance. And in the modern age, philosophers and writers like Ayn Rand resurrected his image. Atlas shrugged, as a metaphor for society itself collapsing under the weight of its own creation. Each retelling stripped him of divine flesh and made him more human. Atlas became us, the being who holds the unbearable, who cannot let go, and who finds meaning not in triumph, but in survival. The legacy of the Titan. Even the stars remember him. Near the constellation Taurus lies the Pleiades, 7 bright points of light said to be the daughters of Atlas, the Hesperides of the Golden Garden. Their eternal dance across the heavens is both tribute and torment, forever just out of their father's reach. Sailors once used those stars to navigate the unknown seas. Each voyage across the Atlantic, the ocean whose very name descends from Atlas, was a quiet echo of his myth. Every ship that set course for the horizon followed the line of his shoulders. Closing reflections. To endure is divine. That was the hidden lesson of Atlas's story. Not punishment, but transcendence through suffering. Zeus may have chained him, but in bearing the sky, Atlas became greater than any god. While Olympus rose and fell, while empires turned to dust, Atlas remained, silent, stoic, endless. And perhaps somewhere in that vast patience there is peace. The stars still turn, the heavens still rest upon unseen shoulders, and the world, in all its fragile wonder, is still held aloft by endurance. This is the story of Atlas, the Titan cursed to carry the world. The eternal weight. There is something haunting about the image of Atlas, a figure frozen in struggle, every sinew strained, every breath caught between agony and purpose. He is not the hero who triumphs, nor the villain who falls. He is something rarer, the one who endures. And perhaps that is why his story still moves us, because buried in that endless act of bearing is a truth that feels deeply human. All of us in some way carry a sky of our own. The heavens we hold are not made of stars and stone, but of expectations, memories, fears, the invisible weight of existence. The burden of responsibility, of loss, of love, and like Atlas, we do not always carry them by choice. They are given to us by fate, by consequence, by the turning of time. Yet what makes Atlas eternal is not his suffering, but his refusal to collapse beneath it. The philosophy of the burden. To the ancient Greeks, Atlas was a cosmic necessity. His punishment kept the world from falling into chaos. But to philosophers who came after, he became a symbol of meaning through endurance. In his silence, they saw wisdom. In his torment, they saw purpose. Atlas taught that the act of bearing itself could be sacred. For the Stoics, endurance was virtue. They believed that suffering, faced without surrender, transforms the soul. Epictetus wrote, "Do not wish for the weight to be lighter. Wish for your shoulders to be stronger." Atlas embodied that creed long before it was written. He was the divine expression of strength without victory, the idea that not all battles are meant to be won but carried. Even the gods who cursed him depended upon him. Zeus may have given the order, but Atlas's defiance became the foundation of heaven itself. Without him, the sky would collapse. Without endurance, even divinity would fall. Atlas and the human soul. Every age has its Atlas, the mother holding her family together while the world fractures around her. The worker carrying generations of struggle on his back. The artist creating in silence, unseen yet unbroken. The survivor, the dreamer, the believer. All are echoes of that ancient Titan standing beneath their own invisible skies. That is why his story still finds its way into art, into thought, into the quiet spaces of our lives, because it asks a question that no myth of victory ever can. When the world itself becomes too heavy, what keeps you standing? For Atlas, it was not hope. Hope fades. Not pride. Pride breaks. It was duty, not imposed by Zeus, but accepted by the self. In the end, Atlas chose to bear the sky. He could have begged, could have fallen, could have cursed the heavens, but he did none of these. He endured because that was his nature, and in that endurance he found a kind of freedom that Zeus could never take. The modern reflection. In the modern world, where gods are forgotten and myths are digital, the image of Atlas remains. Corporations adopt his silhouette, philosophers invoke his name, and dreamers tattoo his burden on their skin. To carry the world has become a symbol of both strength and exhaustion, the double-edged truth of human existence. We admire endurance, yet we fear it. We celebrate strength, yet secretly long to be unburdened. Perhaps that is the true tragedy of Atlas, not his punishment, but our reflection in it. Because the weight we carry today is invisible, but no less real. It is the pressure of expectations, the noise of the world, the endless striving to hold everything together when we were never meant to. And yet we do. Like Atlas, we endure. The redemption, in some forgotten versions of the myth whispered by poets rather than priests, there is another ending. It is said that when the last age of gods fades, and the stars themselves begin to die, Atlas will finally be released. That the heavens, grown light with the passing of eternity, will lift themselves from his shoulders and he will rise, not as a titan, but as the horizon itself. He will dissolve into the sky he once bore, his spirit scattered among the constellations. And when we look up at the Milky Way, at the endless river of light flowing across the heavens, we are not just seeing stars, we are seeing the memory of the one who held them. He did not fall, the ancients would say. He became the firmament. Every myth hides a heartbeat. Atlas is slow, eternal, patient. It reminds us that strength is not in conquest, but in constancy. That the measure of a being, and God or human, is not how much they can lift, but how long they can keep carrying it when the world has forgotten they exist. And perhaps that is why the myth endures, because deep within us all is the quiet echo of his defiance. The whisper that says, "Let the sky fall, I will hold it." This was the story of Atlas, the titan cursed to carry the world, and in doing so kept the heavens from falling. Thank you for joining us.